you know, things that are not so good happening to us, but when we get rid of it, we can expect better things to happen.
Oh, absolutely. And that's another thing that try to pass on to my students, part on to my students, is that you know, a lot of people, you hear the expressions, even when you don't know what's going on, but you see a certain situation, oh, karma's going to get that person, or what's the expression? What goes around comes around, or
Right.
what goes around comes around.
In other words, what you send out comes back.
Please don't ever say that again, ever.
Really?
Please, anyone in the audience, please never say that. Never wish it on anyone, regardless of how horrible the thing that that person may have done or the perception of what that person has done. Please, what goes around comes around. Please erase that. No more.
Now, what
We
what
want to
is
get
the
rid of
harm
all,
that that statement does?
because then you're feeding into that negative karma.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I mean, some people are offended or hurt by something by mistake or something that someone didn't mean. Guess what? Now they're still, especially when the person is wishing them, you know, what comes around goes around, even though they didn't do anything, now they're in that system of karma and they're going to get that punishment or retribution. It's unfortunate.
The person who
Anyone who's ever suffered should never want anyone else to ever suffer with anything.
well, that's true.
So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Although when somebody, I guess, does have some kind of problem, it's normal to say, well, you know, maybe it's their karma or something like that.
yes. Well, you know what? Interesting, because you're saying karma. There's this, and this is an actual story. Another hypnotist associate of mine from a different state, and she was in a relationship. It was a pretty bad relationship, but they both went and they did past life regressions with other hypnotists and everything to find out that he was her husband in 3 previous lives. All 3 of those lives,
He
he
murdered her.
murdered her.
Oh no.
And I said, well, what are you doing with him? She said, well, we have this karma to work out. And I'm just shaking my head. And I guess, you know, they're going to work out that karma even if it kills her. Right?
I killed it 3 times already.
Exactly. So, but finally she woke up and realized, you know what? Even if they have to work through that karma or
don't
the
have to
perception
do
of
it
it, no, you
together.
don't have to do that. Please get out of that relationship. And she eventually did. And she's much happier now.
Uh-huh.
But just because you're in a contract, because a lot of people, many people do go into a karmic contract before they enter this world.
Well, we all have contracts with each
Well,
other.
not everyone, but
Yeah.
but people do, and they go in and they make this agreement. Well, you know what? In our last life, I did this to you, so you know what? Okay, you want to do this to me in this life? Okay, and they make a contract, they shake on it, and then they come into this life. Even if it's written, even if it is a
written in
contract,
stone, huh?
even if it is a contract, it doesn't mean you have to go through with it, because the whole system is, how can I say? I just want to say it's messed up. We don't need it anymore.
In other words,
Not
we
in
can
this,
change our mind.
not in this life anymore, where consciousness is shifting, awareness is shifting. There is no more room for karma.
Now,
And I know it goes against what a lot of people believe, but you know, there really is no reason for it. I don't want anyone to suffer with anything.
no, well, I don't either. You know, I mean, suffering.
And if you punch me,
Yeah.
and we make an agreement, next life I'm going to punch you, guess
Uh-huh.
what? The next life you got to punch me. It's a vicious cycle that keeps going on. Why?
No,
I think
well,
we hit each other enough,
Yeah, yeah.
so we can end it.
You're gonna end
And I
it.
say we end it now.
Right. Well, that's a good. I have really never heard anybody express an opinion like that, and it's interesting. It's food for thought. But so in other
Well, I
words,
hope everyone eats a big portion.
well, so in other words, what you're saying is that it's really not correct anymore to say, you know, what you do comes back to you and all that
No,
kind of
please
stuff.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if people say things like that, I mean, what are they bringing something upon themselves by saying that?
Well, if they believe that, and I don't want to add to that energy either, but yes, it does happen, because then you're putting yourself into that vicious cycle as well. Because any type of thought you have in a negative, less than positive way towards someone else, it's negative.
Yeah.
So of course, and if you believe and if you're in that system, yes, then it'll come back to you. So why have a negative thought? Why not let everyone be happy, enjoy life?
Okay. And then you yourself then, or ourselves, we can walk around saying, I'm okay, everything is fine, and I'm doing well.
Well,
and
hopefully you make it that way. But yes.
Well, sometimes just by putting out, like you said before,
Yes.
words have
They
weight.
yes, very powerful.
Very powerful.
But when you put emotion, feeling, love behind those words, so much more powerful.
Yeah.
So much more powerful.
All right. So how do you recommend dealing with, let's say, people who are not doing good things to you or for you?
Continue to send them your pure positive intentions with
Yeah.
love,
Yeah.
forgiveness. Give every single person strength, courage, confidence, clarity of mind, clarity of purpose, perfect health, love. Just continue to send them pure positive intentions. And guess what?
What?
Hopefully that would help them. And not hopefully, it does help.
Does it help the situation between you and the other person?
Well, sure, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
With everything across the board. And I just missed what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It happens.
Right, yes. Yeah. Well, you were saying about, you know, you wishing.
Oh, I'm sorry. When most people aren't evil. Most people who are doing, let's say, less than positive things or negative things, or most people are operating on bad programming. Most people are operating on the cycles of dysfunction, you know, in their home and what they've learned, what they've experienced, their perception of those experiences. So on one level, it's really not their fault why they're doing what they're doing. So when you're giving them this energy and your pure positive intentions, they're getting it, they're receiving it, and guess what? Especially when you throw in clarity of mind, strength, and courage, they're receiving it, and then it may click. You know what? There's a better way of doing things. You know what? Maybe instead of being mean to the person, you know, the next person that comes across my path, maybe I'll be a little bit nicer.
Mm-hmm. Do we have someone that has a question? Oh, okay. Here comes Nicholas. Hey, Nicholas. Okay, Nicholas is going to ask a question. Go ahead. Go ahead, sweetheart. What is it?
What does it feel like when you first been touched by an angel?
Okay. Very good question. Thank you. What does it feel like when you're touched by an angel? It is a beautiful, amazing experience. One of the things I do it in workshops. I do it even in the 2-day healing workshop. At the end of the day, I take you to the deepest states of hypnosis. I separate your mind from your body, and then your mind, free of any of the physical restraints, I guide to the higher states of awareness. Then I take you to the other side, to be face-to-face with loved ones if they're available, face-to-face with your spirit guides, guardian angels. And to describe the feeling, I mean, I really can't describe it except you have to experience it. But to give you a little bit, take the most amount of love you've ever felt, combine it with the happiest feeling you've ever had in your entire life, and then multiply that by 1,000,000, and that is a fraction of what you feel when you're on the other side and you're touched by your guardian angels, your spirit guides. It's just a beautiful, amazing experience. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. And also, to add to that, angels are always waiting for us to ask them for help and to touch our lives.
And by the way, some angels, especially spirit guides and guardian angels, not just waiting for you to ask, but they're waiting for you to command them. They want to do for you.
They want to do our bidding, yes. They do. Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you very much for the question.
Oh, one more question? Go ahead.
Is it a 2-parter or a 3-parter? No, go ahead. I'm kidding.
In the past life, what does the person do this, and then they sign a contract, and then the next life, the other person does that to the same thing?
Well, that's been going on for a long time, for millennia, and right now I'm saying there's no reason to do it anymore. Give forgiveness across the board. I'm not the first one to say, to forgive. I mean, Jesus has said it. How many ascended masters have been saying it throughout our history? Forgiveness. There's no reason to hold on to it, to hold on to the anger, the guilt, or anything at all. So forgive. Forgiveness, it's very important. It's very powerful. It's one of our most powerful healing tools as human beings as well.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Nicholas.
much for the question.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. And this is Kathy. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Do you have a question?
I have two.
You could bring the mic up if you want a little bit. Just squeeze on right there. No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that
Whatever
doesn't
you
work.
want.
It
Okay.
doesn't.
Go ahead.
No, I have two questions. When you were talking about astral traveling, how do you know it's not a dream?
Very good question. I actually lucid dream. I control my dreams all the time as well. And I do fall asleep. Have you ever had a dream and you're aware that you're dreaming?
Flying, yes.
Yes. Oh, I love to fly. I
I
fly
love
every night. Now, when you're doing both, you do know the difference, the different feelings, the different sensations. And by the way, so you do know the difference, especially when you have the awareness. You know the difference between a dream and you know the difference between out of body, astral traveling. Now, there are so many different levels as well when you're astral traveling, depending on how you leave your body. Now, you can, when you become aware that you're dreaming, and I actually, if you can remind me, I do have dream control CDs that I've created, and I'll discuss in a moment. But if you can remind me.
Sure.
Don't forget.
Okay, dream control.
So when you become aware that you're dreaming, instead of controlling the dream at that point, you can say, okay, you know what, I'm asleep in my bed right now. I want to leave my body. You come out, you feel the tinglings. And also, could you remind me to bring up one of my first conscious memories of astral traveling?
Okay.
She's not going to forget, is she?
She-
Okay, so
I'll
now
try.
when I do astral traveling workshops, I train my students to leave the physical body in several different ways. To come out just now as you are. I also teach them how to come out through their solar plexus chakra, through their third eye. I teach them how to come out through their crown chakra. And each way that you come out of your physical body, the feelings, the sensations, the awareness is different each way that you do it. And the more you do it, of course, the more you're aware and you realize the difference between each way that you're going to do it.
Okay. Question number two.
Oh, I forgot you had two questions.
Well, this is the short one. When you say that you did travel to other planets
Yes?
and you did see other beings, do they look like us?
Some, yes,
No,
absolutely.
do they?
yeah.
Seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
I've created a temple across the universe that I often go to do my healing work and to do certain things. After I created, the first time I showed up to do healing work, there were two light beings. Well, they weren't light beings as far as that we have on the other side. These were entities that were like a very silvery, shimmering, like a metallic body almost, with
Okay.
no face, but I can see that they were smiling. They wanted to observe what I was doing. Next time I went back, there was about 7 or 8 of them. Next time I went back, last time I went there, there was thousands of them there just watching and actually some of them participating and learning from what I do in my temple. So
what exactly were you doing?
healing work.
Healing.
I bring sometimes, I mean, and I do it so many different ways, but sometimes I'll bring someone's awareness there, I'll bring someone's soul there, or I'll bring their specific issue there and I'll work on it there.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Kathy.
Now, what were the things you had to remind me?
Let's see now. I forgot. One was about the astral travel.
Okay, my first experience.
Your first experience.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm about 6 years old, and I feel myself waking up, but I can't move. I'm like, I feel paralyzed, and I'm trying to move.
I've had that
And-
experience.
And my whole body is tingling and vibrating, and I'm trying to move, and finally I roll out and I fall to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now I look up, and there's my physical body sleeping.
Uh-huh.
So here I am. This is a first conscious awareness, because I've astral traveled before that, but this is my first conscious awareness. So I'm on my floor, but I can't get up. And this is my astral body. But from the hallway into my bedroom is this bright, shining white light just coming through, and I'm drawn to it. So I'm crawling over to it. As I crawl into it, all the emotions, these feelings, this warmth, the love. I mean, it's amazing. The humming, it's just a beautiful experience, even just being in that light. I get there and I look up, and in the threshold of my doorway is Jesus. He's standing there like this.
Wow.
He puts out his hand. I put out my hand. He lifts me up. Then we walk through the hallway. We're encompassed by this white light the entire time. We walk through the hallway. We walk into the kitchen. The refrigerator door swings open. He has me look inside. It's filled. And then we walk to the threshold of the kitchen to the living room. And I can't tell you how long we stood there for. We were always encompassed by this white light, but where the living room was, or should have been, was this complete blackness, this complete void. In any case, we stood there for a while, and then I snapped back into my body, woke up. It was a beautiful experience. That was that was actually my first conscious memory of astral traveling.
Wow.
I wanted to share that.
No, that was wonderful. I remember having an experience where I felt like I was bound or something, where I couldn't move too, and
you were sleeping?
And I was sleeping.
So you were aware, though, that this was happening?
Yes, I was.
At that point, see, that's a beautiful sign. When you're at that point, that's a beautiful time to roll out of your body, to give yourself the intention to come out of your body. Now, of course, if you have the fear, that fear will hold you back.
Exactly what happened. Yeah, I was afraid. In the meantime, we have
another question.
David has a question. Yes.
Hello, Dave.
How are you? How's everything? I have a quick question. I was listening to what you were saying about the travel and everything. I'm a paranormal investigator, and I deal with a lot of spirits all the time.
Okay.
Are you able to help a spirit as well?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. On so many different levels.
Okay.
So when a person does pass, sometimes they don't go directly to the other side.
Right.
They should, but sometimes they don't. There's certain things that they think that they have to do, like they unfinished business, and you can help them finish that business. You can give them forgiveness. A lot of times, sometimes an entity is afraid to go because they think they're going to get judged. It's not going to happen. You judge yourself.
That's right. Yes.
And if you don't want to come back to Earth, you do not have to come back to Earth.
Okay, because a lot of times, like, I'll get an EVP and they'll say, help me, and the only thing I can do is pretty much guide them towards a light. I'll say, go to a light.
Well, from now on, if you don't mind, if I give you a suggestion.
Absolutely.
When you get that and you hear a help me, automatically give your pure positive intentions. Give love. You felt love before, right?
Absolutely.
So bring that love, if you can, bring the pure love from God, the universe, whatever it is to you, the source of all creation, and send it to them with forgiveness. Absolutely forget. And it may come to your awareness what they need to be forgiven for, and it doesn't have to, but give them forgiveness, give them love, strength, courage, confidence, the same thing, all the positive that you can give. And that is so much help to that spirit.
Okay, great, because sometimes I cannot hear them the first time around. I won't hear it until I get home to review the evidence. But if I go back there, can I address that to them?
And time, I mean, you could do something now to 10 days ago, to a year ago. You were supposed to remind me something else. I don't know if you did or not, but remind me about 9/11.
9/11. I think I can remember
Thank you very
that.
much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
What was the other thing you had to remind
tell me?
me?
As far as Dave's question is concerned,
Yes.
but can you should verbalize it to the spirit?
You don't have to verbalize it to this. You don't. It's just your intentions.
Your
and
intentions.
they'll get it. When you send your intention somewhere, they'll get it.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever communicated with someone without actually speaking, or, you know someone's going to call you, you want someone to call you, and all of a sudden the person calls you?
Yeah. I see. So, okay. Now, Brian has a question. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Christine. Hello, George.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Does astral travel or projection help with healing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Depending on what you do, what you want to do. When you astral travel, you can go to places to be healed. You can go to the other side to be healed. You can go and you can visit your spirit guide. You can go to Source. That beautiful, pure love, white light healing energy, you can go directly to the center of it, bathe and shower your mind, body, and soul astrally, and it all takes place and you are healed. So, and there's infinite ways of doing it.
Okay. Does the host body have to be alive?
What do you mean?
In other words, if you're in the astral plane field, and you encounter to another another being,
Yes.
and they said, and is there a possibility that their spirit, or meant the entity, is saying that their body has passed away some time ago?
Yeah, that happens.
that happens.
Can you go to, thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Can you go to visit deceased loved ones when you're astral traveling?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Hi.
I wish we had
Roberta.
time. I would tell you all the stories about, my loved ones or bringing my clients and students
All right.
to the other
That
side
would
and
be
bringing
nice
them
to
face
hear
to
about,
face.
Sure.
We should do a part 2.
Yes.
I think we're going to be
okay,
running out of time
let's do that. Yes, we are. But Roberta has a question now.
Hello, Roberta.
Hi. Hello. Actually, two. One is from the realm of science and medicine, and one's to do with psychology. You were talking before, you mentioned cancer and you mentioned healing. Several years ago, I read an article in a medical journal of a doctor who was he was an oncologist, and he talked about he didn't mention astral travel or astral healing, but he said the power of the mind to work on healing in such a way that the killer cells that would actually go against and attack, like white blood cells and other killer cells, and actually attack cancer cells, and that patients who engaged in this therapy showed immense powers to heal
Absolutely.
physically, and that
It's
cancers
scientifically
would
proven.
go into remission.
Yes.
So that was one of the things that you were talking about.
Yes, and there's infinite ways of doing that. There's infinite ways of, there's one of the things I do is cell command therapy, where in hypnosis, in your mind, you go to those cells and you command them to heal, or you command whatever's not supposed to be there to leave, and it does. And, a lot of people will work for a long time to do certain things, but it all can be instant, like this. Your mind is so very powerful.
That was one of the things that I was interested in. The other was, you've talked a lot about the physical. I was just wondering, I have a friend who has a lot of neurotic problems, bipolar disorder, manic depression, and is seeing a therapist for 27 years. And I know this friend a few years. I don't see anything positive coming out of it. In fact, I don't see her improving at all. And I'm wondering, what can be done in the psychological realm instead of beyond the physical?
Well,
Or is that a different problem?
Well, for one thing, people will go to a psychologist, psychiatrist for years, decades, their entire life, and work on the same issue and never get it resolved. Your mind is much more powerful than that. In hypnosis, you get right, and they'll tell you, well, that problem is, deep-rooted in your subconscious mind. Come back next week, we'll talk about it. No, in hypnosis, we get right to the cause, right to the problem, and heal it. And that's anything and everything across the board. Before you ask about any psychological disorder or physical, medical, anything at all, it's like this, can be healed like this.
Because exactly what you said, it continues week after week after week, year after year after year.
Must be doing something wrong, I guess, huh?
Well, I'm just saying that so that it is possible within this kind of healing.
Absolutely, to completely heal it.
Okay,
Yes.
I'd be interested in the workshops. I want to get some
Okay.
information.
Yeah, well, I
on
might be
Oh,
going
anyone
too,
in the
if I'm-
audience, if you do want me to keep you apprised of updated about my workshops, just give me your email and I'll contact you. I'll let you know. Thank
Very
you for the
good,
question.
Thank you, Roberta. Now,
I remember what I
9/11,
wanted. See, you had to remind me 9/11, but I also,
Go ahead.
you had a birthday recently?
2 days ago.
2 days. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You look so good for 33.
All right. Thank you.
Well, I have a gift for you.
Oh, how nice.
This is one of my hypnosis CDs, chakra hypnosis.
Oh, wow.
You give yourself the intention of whatever you want to work on, whatever you want to heal, correct, or manifest into your life. In this CD, I bring you to the deepest states of hypnosis, and then I guide you through all of your chakras to do the work. And in the background, I have renowned opera singer, her vocals, connecting with each chakra as you go through it. I get a lot of positive feedback on it. I hope you enjoy it.
Is it good to listen to it while you're resting and trying to?
Oh, you're going to a
go
deep
off?
state of hypnosis. Please don't drive while you're doing it. So
Well,
no driving.
So that, oh, right, yeah.
Do it
There's
before you go to
there's a car with a circle and a.
Do it before you go to sleep, or when you
Yes.
first wake up in the morning.
So if you fall asleep during it.
You're no longer hypnotized, so don't fall asleep during it. So if
Oh,
you fall
okay.
asleep at 10, start listening to it at 9
I see.
or 8.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you.
And that CD is the first one that I recommend before you do any of my dream control CDs, where I guide you to control your dream
So
and to
work
heal
with
yourself.
this one first.
And I do have an astral travel through the dream control. CD that I will have available next week.
Okay, very good. Now, what about 9/11? You were going to say something before we close.
You know, I apologize, but I don't think we have enough time for me to tell you about 9/11.
Oh, well, like
But
you
it's
said,
about going back in time and doing the healing work, and there are no limits. So you can go back in time. I go to the Holocaust all the time.
Wow.
I go to 9/11, and I have a tremendous
and
amount of
healing the souls
confirmation.
of the people that lived through those
Yes.
events.
Not only the people that were the victims, but the people that were doing
The victimizers.
Yes. Across the board, everyone. So I do go there, and I have confirmation about me being there.
Do you think that, as one last question, that eventually humanity will get to the point where everything is peaceful and calm and all is
Absolutely.
forgiven and all is calm and,
Yes.
and
It's-
everybody's loves each other
Yes,
and is getting along?
it has started, and it is happening.
You
There
feel
is
that
there
way?
is a shift, yes. Now, of course, if you notice, a lot of people will say things are getting bad and worse, especially in this country, and those are the powers behind the powers behind the powers that they do not want us to be awake. They do not want us to do this shift.
That's for sure.
So they want to keep us as slaves, and guess what? We're much more powerful than that. The light is stronger than the darkness, and the light will prevail, and it's happening now.
Well, that's wonderful news to
And
finish.
thanks to you with this program as well. People are...
Well, thank you. Yes, I know I'm on YouTube. So if anybody wants to see some of my older shows and more recent ones on YouTube, and you go to Spiritual Exploration, type in my name, and you can see them. And I've been watched in 178 countries so far, and I really feel that because of that, I am doing something around the world that's some good. And
Absolutely.
with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for being here tonight. I enjoyed the show, and we will do a continuation of this. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people interested.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Always love being on your show.
And I always love having you. Okay, and say hi to Anya for me.
I will. Thank
Okay,
you so
good.
much.
Okay, good night, everyone. Take care.